Hey everyone, welcome back to Northman Reviews. We're doing the Age of Apocalypse stuff. Again, it'll probably be that way for a little bit, so hope you guys like Age of Apocalypse because we are getting down to the final phase of the final one issues of what I call phase one. I don't know, phase one of the Age of Apocalypse. We're going through all the issue number ones. I think I got one more to do of something, which is kind of different. But here we got X-Man. And the Age of Apocalypse begins now. Steve Scroce, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. Artist. I don't know what the other signature is. X-Man is kind of a interesting concept. It comes out of the Cable comic book. It was birthed from that. So this is a version of X-Man. We've talked about him before because we know that he escapes the Age of Apocalypse and comes into the main universe, the main Prime universe. And he had a lot to do with the Onslaught saga that I've already went through. He was a big part of that. But he is basically what Cable should have been. If Cable wasn't infected with a techno-organic virus, Cable would be astronomically powerful like this guy is, basically, from my understanding. So, well, let's just get into the comic book, see what's going on. So it starts with this fucking homage to Terminator. Come with me if you want to live. And there's Cyclops. And this is a memory. When I was looking through this comic, because I had to be reminded of what it was. I had kind of read the comic when I was younger, but I didn't have this one. This was one of the titles that I didn't pick up as a child, so I didn't look through it as much. So I kind of had to be like, wait, what is going on here? But this is a memory of X-Man. And I kind of had the writing wasn't too, we'll get to it. But this is a memory. It starts with talking about waking up, not knowing where you are, when you are, who you are, and then you see this guy. This is like X-Man's first memory. And X-Man was created from the DNA of Cyclops and Jean Grey. Jean Grey was captured and was being held captive by Mr. Sinister. I don't know if Beast was part of it. I think it was a Mr. Sinister thing. It always is with them, right? And while Jean was captured, before she was rescued by Wolverine, which resulted in Wolverine cutting out his eye and Cyclops blasting off Wolverine's left hand, they took Jean's DNA and fused it with Cyclops and started creating this person, right? So Cyclops is there, and it's still a memory. And Cyclops is the one who lets X-Man. He doesn't have a name at all, so we're just going to call him X-Man. But this is where Cyclops sets him free. But he reacts pretty instinctually. He doesn't know what's going on. He just starts running for it. His only thing is survival. He's like, I don't know you, get away from me, but he can talk. And he bursts through the fucking wall using a psi blast. He probably doesn't even know how he did this. An unexplainable psionic burst is released. So, I'm out of here! So he crashes through, jumps through this hole, and Cyclops watches him go down. You can see the hole's smaller. And it says here, you scan his thoughts, and the overwhelming feeling he has, meaning Cyclops, has for you is envy. Cyclops wants to get the fuck out of there too. So this is kind of a weird thing. So now we go to a side shot. And usually when you do a side shot, it's because there's a huge double page spread that the artist decide for whatever reason they had to do it this way. So you're like, okay, we'll turn it this way. But here it's not. It's just kind of this one page with a few different panels. And again, this is a memory or a dream or whatever, as X-Man made his way through. I don't know if this is a memory. I don't know, but it's going on with whatever this is. Memory, dream, well, I guess we're going to find out. And he goes to this place, this mansion, and it looks like a school, and we know that this is probably the X mansion. Goes up the door, knocks, or goes on in. Gargoyle, such a great show. And, oh, wait, gotta turn it again. So, this is, like, horizontal, this is horizontal. You'd think they could have put this page and this page right here and just put this fucking ad right here. Or put this ad here. No, that wouldn't work. Yeah, put this here and just swap these two, right? Because now we're still looking at it horizontal as we see this, and he's seeing, again, it's not a memory. I think he's like telepathically walking around. So there's Bishop and Magneto here, and they're arguing about shit. They're arguing. But this is in the present. This is no memory, and I think he's like telepathically walking around, and he's hearing these thoughts. He's kind of envisioning it somehow. That's kind of shows his power. So we see this horizontal page, and then we got to go back to vertical. And but he gets someone taps him and asks, "What are you doing?" And he looks behind. There's this. Oh my God! Who the fuck is this? This is Forge, which they're going to say somewhere. But yeah, this is Forge, and he looks pretty fucked up, man. I mean, I know he has the ability to create technology, and he probably Age of Apocalypse got fucked up, and he did something. But he doesn't look. He looks like a goddamn monster. So yeah, we know that this is going on in real life because Magneto, he sees a reflection. He sees the two of them. He's like, "Wait, what?" And he looks, and they're gone, and he just assumes he's kind of losing it from the stress of everything. But here, Forge, he's like, "I've warned you about pushing yourself. It can be dangerous. Come back with me now." And so he kind of wakes up to what the actual reality is. It's the Age of Apocalypse, blah, blah, blah. We all know that. So then there's these guys, and let's talk about these guys. So we have Toad. And I was like, wait a minute, what? Toad? How is that possible? I think I have it here somewhere. I thought Toad was already showed up in Age of Apocalypse in Factor X. I guess it doesn't say his name. I thought this was Toad, but it must not be. Okay, so don't worry about me. I figured since Pyro's here, Toad would be with him. Anyways, who cares? Where's my pointer? I lost my pointer. Hold on. It's fucking right there. I'm like, where's my pointer? It's right here. Anyways, this is Toad, I guess. Then you got Sauron, you got Mastermind here, it says, and you got Brute. I swear, I don't know, I'm not terribly sure who Brute is. I thought he might have been a Morlock. I don't know. And then there's Forge. And they're kind of a team, and he says, "Welcome back, Nate." So I guess we can call him Nate instead of X-Man. Who calls him X-Man? I'm just going to name you X-Man. Yeah, and he was saying, like, "Oh, you should have been there. I was pushing myself in a kind of psionic memory deal. And I let out a mega TK whack." So he's had some time since he was busted out of here. I'm not sure how much time. But he linked up with these guys, and he's kind of matured a little bit. And this is kind of interesting. While he was in this weird telepathic memory, and he says, like, let out a mega TK, a telekinetic, whammy or something like that. It actually happened in real life. And so like all this like destruction, devastation, and he's like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry. I could have jeopardized everything we've done." And he's like, "This private, unsupervised training stops now." It's like, don't go into these weird telepathic memory deals until you've kind of like learned your powers a little bit better, because that just shows again how fucking powerful X-Man is, or Nate. So, and we kind of continue, and we talk about there's it's not a town, it's called a show or something like that. It's a place where humans who have not fled, survivors of the Cullings ordered by Apocalypse to reduce the unnecessary human population. The ones who did not flee to Europe, where humans still enjoy their freedom. Men and women who stayed out of fear, poverty, and some say ignorance. So, for whatever reason, there's still, humans around, and they want to get out of America. Like, Apocalypse hasn't taken over everything, but he basically has taken over enough, and he's going to continue to do it. So life is just horrible for humans, but like there's this show they can go to where these guys put on a play and they're doing a Hamlet Midsummer Night's Dream. And Mastermind uses his powers to kind of like show the audience what, kind of creating an illusion. And that's a good way for these guys, this group, to travel unnoticed, more or less. And then you got a couple of guys here. I think these must be humans. I'm not really sure who these fuckers are. And they're like, "We don't take kindly to strangers in these parts." So they just take this, like, it's a traveling show, they pretend it is. But these guys don't like it, start arguing, but X-Man, Nate, he comes in, he uses his telepathic powers, basically does a fucking Jedi mind trick. "Shouldn't be bothering us. We shouldn't be bothering you. These aren't the droids you're looking for. These aren't the droids," say goodnight and fuck off. So they leave. So good job. But Ford is still mad. He's like, "That wasn't smart." And they start arguing again. It's like, "I got us out of hot water, but your heart's in the right place, but you haven't thought it through. You can't just like blindly do these things. You got to be more careful," is what the basic conversation here. Steve, the artist here, he gets better as he goes. I know he's done some really cool stuff in like some issues of Wolverine and probably X-Men and other things, I'm sure. He's one of these artists that is up and coming, and he gets the job done more or less. I'm not too much enjoying his art here, but it's not bad. So as always, we have to have a big appearance of Apocalypse. Back at the Citadel, Cyclops talking to him, and he says his Sinister has fled, his laboratory is in shambles, which happened in Factor X. So luckily I'm reading these in kind of in order, even though they're all issue ones. I'm kind of reading them in order. If I had read this first and then I'm like, "Wait, what?" Then go back here, So that's the order so far that I've done them, and I'm going to keep doing it. So yeah, Cyclops is reporting that Sinister has fled to Apocalypse. He's like, "Of course, he has survival of the fittest, blah blah." He has the Shadow King here in this like fucking like lava lamp thing. That's kind of creepy. He says, "Although I pity Sinister for alone, he'll never pose any threat to my power. No one has the power of Apocalypse," he says. Like, I don't care what Sinister's up to. He doesn't scare me. And then Shadow King's like, "I don't know if that's true." He's like, what do you mean?" And he says, "I'm aware of another, a telepath. And each time he uses his power, it creates a ripple in the psionic plane like no other." So every time Nate, X-Man, uses his powers, Shadow King can sense it. I think that's also what Ford is telling him here. Every time you use your power, it kind of puts a target on your back. And he's like, "You exaggerating. Cyclops, get the fuck out of here." And so he starts talking to Shadow King a little bit more. He's like, "Not because it's any real consequence, but it amuses me." And Cyclops goes away. He's like, telepaths are rare enough, but one whose power rivals Apocalypse just might help me in my plans. Cyclops, should you be thinking that when another powerful telepathic entity like Shadow King is right there to maybe hear your thoughts? Maybe wait till the door shuts? Maybe. So, Shadow King continues, and this is kind of cool. He's like through the jar here. It's like, I cannot pinpoint his location. He's in the Midwest and on the move. It's like, cool, keep me informed. And he's talking to somebody. He's like, you overheard? And he's like, go and collect this telepath, and it's Domino. Which makes sense. You should put Domino in a book that spawned from Cable, right? And he's like, maybe you can convince this mutant to work for me. If he or she refuses, kill him. Love to, boss, so that's cool stuff. And here we are at another encampment here, I guess, of humans. And these, what are these? These soldiers, I forget what they're called. The Infinites, yeah. You know, foot soldiers of Apocalypse. They find these guys and say, okay, you guys are going to be relocated. You'll only be hurting yourselves if you resist. And there's this one woman, and I guess whoever this is with them, and she's like, no, like, I don't want to go. And this guy's like, I'll die before I let them take you. But these Infinites just fucking kill this guy in front of this woman. And he says her name is Teresa. And if you know that name, then you probably can guess who this character is. So they're loading all these humans onto this train here. There's still fucking sentinels just flying everywhere. What? Or are these Infinites? These must be Infinites. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and these are Infinites. They throw this woman here, and she's all upset. She's pissed off as they slam the door. That reminds me of something, and I don't know what. But from the bushes, Nate and Forge, they're watching, and Nate's like, come on, man, you gotta let me help. This is wrong what they're doing. He's like, no, you're too important. Don't do anything. Keep watch. So I don't know what Forge and these guys are like. Are they their own little group of people like helping humans and whatnot? Because it seemed like that's what they're doing here. So Sauron is in the sky. That's kind of cool. And Sauron attacks first. Drops a bomb on the... Okay. He drops a bomb or a grenade on the tracks here. Causes an explosion on the tracks, which makes it stop. And the conductor or whoever driving the train sees these shadows. And it's... I don't know who we're going to call these guys. I have no idea. Good evening. We'll be relieving you of your passengers. They're like, are you crazy? This is Apocalypse's train. And, you know, it's like, oh, fuck you. It's garbage. Slams that guy down, beats his ass, and they start rescuing these humans. So, good stuff for them. But then the Infinites start attacking. Sauron is the first of the evening's casualties as they are overrun by the Infinite Patrol. So they're... like, Sauron's wings are shot through right there. It's like, ah! Infinites, run! So the Infinites are there to, like, gonna kill everyone. But here comes X-Man. He's like, fuck you. Even though he was told not to engage the enemy directly, he's not just gonna stand by. So I guess he telepathically is tearing this guy apart in the middle. That's fucked up. And, you know, thought balloons, like, gotta keep telling myself that this is a war and these guys deserve it. So, yeah, we don't need that. We understand that this is war and that people have to be a little bit brutal in this situation. That boy, he saved us all, someone's thinking. Must be her. So behind Nate, here's another Infinite. Gonna, like, ambush him from behind. This woman sees it and she yells, "Look out behind!" And like she just lets out this scream, and it's a sonic scream. So we can tell pretty quickly that this is Siren from X-Force. She was Banshee's daughter. The guy took the opportunity to draw her ass right here. Good job. But I guess that's the first time. So she saves X-Man there. You know, he probably would have been okay. It looks like he's like, oh, that fucking loud. But she's never done that before. She kind of collapses into his arms. And they're like, leave her, we're moving out. And like, no, she's coming with me. Whether you like it or not. Like, okay, fine. And we'll deal with this later. So they now have a new member with their little group, which is Siren, who just became a mutant. So they're trudging along in the darkness, and they come up. This is the final page. You know, they have horses in a wagon, and this guy pulls a Dr. Schultz from Django Unchained at the very beginning of that movie, and he stops them like, "Who goes there?" And he's, sorry to intrude, but let me introduce myself. They call me Essex. And I think I can be of some help. And here you see the little red diamond, Essex. This is Mr. Sinister. No one knows who Mr. Sinister is, but that's kind of the hook of this book. Mr. Sinister created X-Man, and here he is disguising himself as X-Man is out in the wild, you could say. So, cool. I mean, it's a cool book, I guess. You know, world building with the Age of Apocalypse, showcasing who this guy is and showing how powerful he can be. So, again, this wasn't one that I read as a kid. I don't have a lot of fond memories of it. Do you? Have you read these? Do you I'm trying to find an order of these books that I like them from most to least. The Astonishing X-Men with Joe Mad's art is like way up there, but I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I haven't read all of the other issues, but what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. Give the video a like, and as always, I will see you in the next video.